Hi guys, it's Danny from Art by Marlene's promo team. Today I'm going to show you this really cool altered toilet bag, which I'm going to now make into a pencil case to carry all my craft supplies in when I go to workshops. This is a really cheap little toilet bag that I purchased from Kmart for about $10. It's made of a nylon fabric, and I'm just going to use some acrylic paint with some fabric medium, and I'm going to place that all over the front side and the back side of the case. Just choosing some of my favourite colours and layering that down. The fabric medium actually makes the paints a little bit more translucent, so you have to layer the colours down quite a bit, get a few layers down before you get a good coverage. Here I'm just adding some more pink, and I'm trying to make my little blocks look a little bit more blended now, creating those streaks. I'm using a jelly plate and Art by Marlene's circle salad in the turquoise or the blue, and now some yellow with the same set. I'm using a different circle salad, and this is Leaf Geo. This is a TCW stencil, Art by Marlene Positivity. It's one of my favourite stencils, and I'm just using a makeup sponge to stencil through the black paint. I'm doing that on all four sides of the case. Now a bit of white acrylic and using the spots out of the same stencil. And then hot pink through the stars. This is an Art by Marlene's lady stencil. I think it's called Shelley's, so I'll double check that and put it down in the comments below. I've just stenciled that with white, and I'm using Dutch Spring to stencil one of the flowers on her head. And now I'm going to block in all the areas with some flesh tone. As I said before, the paint becomes a little bit translucent with that medium in it, so I need to put in a few layers, and I'm not really particular about going over all the fine details. I'm just going to block all that colour in. So her skin tone, her eyes and her hair. Every time I've added a new colour, I add more of the fabric medium, just so that that acrylic really sticks to the case. I lay the stencil back on. I'm using a Pitt pen here. This is Indian ink, and I'm just going to put in all those details that I lost before so that I can start building her face. So I'm using the ink here to put in some shadows, and while it's wet I'm just smudging it. The ink is quite smudgeable when it's wet, but as soon as it's dry it becomes permanent. So it's a nice medium to use. And I'm using some Ink Intense pencils. Again, these are water soluble pencils, but once the ink is dry it's permanent, so I don't need to worry about all the details washing off. I'm basically just building up the colour and the form in the face by adding shadows and blush. Just working on the texture of the hair so it's not so flat. Now I'm just going back over with that Dutch Spring on the flower. I'm going to stencil the white on. Gives me a base to then put my colour of acrylic over the top. I'm just painting the flower petals in with some acrylic. So just building up the layers there. As I said before, the medium makes the paint a little bit translucent, and now I'm going over with Pitt pens again. I'm using the stencil again to colour the eyes, putting the final details there. And now I'm just using some more Pitt pens and pencils to put in some highlights and the final details. Back to the trusty Posca pen in white paint. I'm just popping in some highlights and final details, making things pop a little. And then highlighting some of those shapes in the background, just tracing over them with squiggly lines. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.